Greetings everyone, welcome back to my sketchbook. I just wanted to sit down, take a moment, just doodle something just for fun. Um, I have a lot of weird stuff at my place, which includes like Lego figures and comic books and neat things like that. So, I mean, at one point I drew a picture of this, which is a sorting hat, and I thought for fun, wouldn't it be neat to draw a version of this golden snitch? I don't know. Let's find out. It should be reasonably easy, not a complicated thing. So I'm just going to kind of draw a circle. And it's going to look lumpy, and I'm okay with that. Now it's going to be weird for me to try to figure out what direction I want this thing to go. How do I want the wings to look? I have no real idea, to be honest with you. You know what? Let's kind of play around with the idea of it here. Now, there's not a lot of detail with this, so I'm going to make up stuff, and we'll see how that goes. Actually, let's zoom in a little bit on this, because let's see if we can get something that kind of makes sense in our heads. So I'm going to assume that the wings sit a little more forward, and we'll treat it kind of a little bit more like a bug. How about that? Something like that. Again, I don't really know, but we're going to make it up as we go because we're crafty. And whatever this thing is, well, it could be fun. Could be kind of a nuisance too. But the Lego people, sometimes they reuse some of their things, and other times they make up brand new sculpts, let's say. And in this case, I don't think there's any way that they would have got this as being part of something else. So I'm going to kind of make up my own thing, I think, a little bit too, because I don't know what to expect. And how exact certain things are. I'm going to kind of pretend that some things are a little more stylized than others. And I remember seeing different versions of these at Universal anyway. So some of this is possibly from memory, and some of it is just kind of like, well, as I said, I'm going to kind of make something up here. But do as you wish. So, as a curiosity, when's the next, what was it now, the Magical Creatures movie with Newt Scamander? Are we expecting more of those movies to come out? I know they're working on an HBO thing now, but I don't know if there's going to be more with the magical creatures. Now, the next thing is to try to figure out how I want the wings to kind of look. Because, you know, I can kind of use this pen that I made using Samara's, or the helicopter seeds from trees and twig or whatever. I could kind of use that as a little bit of a reference, but this is just for fun. Because I do think that they kind of unfurl a little bit too. Almost like the wings of a, well, I guess some would call them a scarab. But we all know what a scarab is. A scarab is a dung beetle. Which makes them just so awesome. Let's see. A little bit of pointiness there, a little bit of this over here. That's kind of interesting. Maybe let's see if we can get this to go a little further back. Just like that. Now, we're going to fix some of the things. Now, I may go a little longer with some of these, which is fine. But I think the ideal thing now is to, now we'll fix some of the lines, or at least highlight a couple of the lines in a different way. Now, at my house, I'm not nearly as into Potter-like things, but I do like the detail, if that makes sense. So, I haven't read the books. The movies are a different thing, of course. I think I really do like the detail. And so if you've ever been to the magical wizarding world, you might know what I'm talking about. But the details, I'm a fan of the details. Okay, almost done for my doodle's sake. And if it doesn't look like, you know, a golden snitch that you know, I'm not going to say too bad. I'm going to say, well, maybe we need to develop one that looks a little bit like the way that you think it should. And I mean no disrespect. I'm not being facetious, as you might hear people say. It's more along the lines of, I'm trying to do most of what I do here by memory. And I don't have to study other things or other people's art to kind of make my own. I don't think that's a bad thing. I wonder if I have any gold markers. Give me a moment. I gotta have something. I don't think this is going to work, but I have something new here. Actually, you know what? Let me look through some of my other stuff around here. That's what you get for not really planning stuff as you're doing it. I do have a bunch of like Sharpies here. None of those are gold. What is the good of that? I do have something else here though. And let's see how this goes. All right. What is this supposed to be? Well, let's see if I regret this. Ooh, yellow gold. I'll try to move through this as quick as possible. Now, if I were so crafty, I would have drawn the whole thing with this. Because I might be dragging some of the ink out. Because the ink I use, as you might hear me say often enough, is water soluble. And that can be a problem. Because it will kind of drag itself around a little bit. So, well, anyway, no big deal. We're doing this just for fun. Golden Snitch. Well, I don't really mind it. It's not really my favorite. Oh, let's try to do something, other little embellishments. We'll dance between some of our little designs. Now this is, what is this? Papermate. Flare. Anyway, not sponsored by the way, so I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to sell you on any of this stuff. And as with most of the stuff that I pick up and you see me use, no, I'm not sponsored. I have my own grown-up money that I use for this stuff. Now at the beginning of pretty much every video you'll see me put on a pair of amber glasses, and that's just to help with eye fatigue, because if I sit down for a while my eyes get a little sore. They're the same type of glasses that you might use if you're driving a lot. So there are truck drivers that might use them. They help with glare, and they're actually pretty handy. What's not great about them is if you use other colors, you kind of taint what you're doing. So then, you know, I end up dropping the glasses to the tip of my nose or kind of above my eyebrows, because a yellowy tint on pinks, for example, is not great, or on blues, or anyway, I think you know what I'm talking about. So let's have a little bit more kind of darkness there just for fun, using gold. I think we're pretty much done. I think that's about as easy and as fun as I can get. I'm going to dip this pen here again, and I'm going to go back in and just sort of work on some of those little weird designs that I put in there, which may or may not relate to the wonderful world or the wizarding world, and I'm okay with that. Again, like I said, I'm not really going to copy somebody else's thing. My memory is not bad most of the time. Not always. I don't memorize everything. But I do like to recognize patterns, though. Sort of like if you look at daisies and you're doing that, you know, that loves me not thing. If you can immediately see that there is an odd number, and you start off with saying that, you know, that person loves you, then that person will always love you if you know that there's an odd number, if you can recognize the pattern quick enough. Silly, I know, right? Just a little trick of the trade. Anyway, where are we at here? A little over 18 minutes. And we're going to finish this up in a moment. Because we don't need to be doing this all day. A simple enough thing, folks. That is it. We have a golden snitch. And we don't need to go really any further than that. That is just for fun. So that's it. That's what we got when we look at this. You can see a little bit of the design feature that come on now, camera, that I tried to use. There's this curving kind of thing, but I separated it a little bit, and that's what we got. So look, folks, thanks for hanging out, and